Hey folks, I'm Tennessee Brando with the MeidasTouch Network. First of all, I'd like to thank y'all so much for liking and sharing the video I did about Hillary Clinton not becoming president back in 2016 and how I felt like that was one of the biggest mistakes that our country's made in a long time. That video is now gone mega viral, and so thank you guys so much for pushing that one out there and getting it out there for people to see and hear. If that video got you excited and inspired to vote in 2024, I'm here to tell you to keep your eye on the ball, because the stakes are high now going into the 2024 election, just like they were back in 2016. Justices Thomas and Alito could be retiring in the coming years, meaning whoever is president between 2024 and 2028 could be appointing new Supreme Court justices. Now, we saw how that worked out for us back in 2016. We saw what happened when Donald Trump was able to appoint Supreme Court justices. We see the mess we're in today because of it. So if you're out there and you're like, well, I'm not the biggest fan of Joe Biden. You know, I don't think he's done the best in the world. I think I'll just vote third party, or I think I'll just stay home. You're no different than the people that did that back in 2016. And I'm not here to play Monday morning quarterback. I'm not here to say I told you so. But I have had countless messages from people who have reached out to me and said, hey, I saw your video. Back in 2016, I was mad because Bernie didn't become the nominee, and so I stayed home, or I voted third party. And then I sat and listened to your video, and as bad as I hate to say it, I couldn't argue with the words you had to say. You know, they realize now that the stakes are high. So if you're sitting over here going, well, I don't know about Joe Biden. Maybe we should just try something. Maybe we should have a new face. Listen, you got to get in reality here, okay? The reality, the truth of the matter is, Joe Biden is going to be the nominee in 2024. He may not be your first pick. He may not be your favorite president of all time, but the stakes are too high to either stay home on election day or vote third party, or heaven forbid you vote for the other side. I knew one guy that said, hey, I'm just going to vote for the other side so I can just burn it all down. Well, you sure as hell did. You burn it all down, and now you're sitting back going, damn, I didn't mean for that to happen. Well, that's because the stakes are just too high. So now let's look at the other side for a minute. Tell me, what is a new idea that a Republican has brought to the table in recent memory? When's the last time they brought a brand new idea to the table that you said, hey, maybe that's something we should try? Maybe that would benefit all Americans. When's the last time you said that? You've not. Why? Because they're the party of no ideas. They have no new solutions. The only ideas and solutions that a Republican has is to tear down things that liberals already put in place. They're out to destroy whatever progress we've made. And their voters don't care about that, because the Republicans figured out how to keep their voters voting against their own interests. And they did so by turning politics into a WWE-style spectacle. Their voters show up for emotion. Their voters show up to see their guy stomp a mud hole in somebody. They don't give a shit about you or your rights that's being stripped away. They don't care at all, because it's not affecting them. They're not affected by affirmative action. That doesn't affect them. They're not affected by discrimination against the gay community. That doesn't affect them. They're not worried about student loan debt. It's not affecting them or their children. So they can sit back and laugh all day at the decisions the Supreme Court's made recently. They do not care. They're not going to care. That's who, though, is fired up. That's who is ready to vote. That's who's going to go out there and put all their energy into getting behind their guy and voting. That's why we can't sit over here and go, well, gee, I don't know if we should get behind our guy or not. It's not about one guy. It's not about one man. It's not about one single issue. It's about who will have the best interests of all of us at heart, and who is more likely to work with us. The question I ask you, who do you feel would work with you? Joe Biden or Donald Trump, or whoever the Republican nominee? You think Ron DeSantis is going to listen to you? He's going to be too busy tripping over the word woke every 5 seconds to hear a damn word you've got to say. So the stakes are too high to say, well, maybe we should just vote third party, or maybe Joe Biden should step aside. Look, that ain't going to happen, okay? Circle the wagons, get behind Joe Biden, get him elected. And when he's in, we can hold Joe Biden's feet to the fire, and he's a man of integrity who will listen to us. He's a man who will go out there and roll up his sleeves and work, and he has. While the Republicans was over here fighting the culture wars, he passes the infrastructure bill. They didn't care. They had no idea. They were mad about it because it wasn't something they could die. It wasn't a hill they could die on. It wasn't a Bud Light can. It wasn't a Carhartt jacket. It wasn't Chick-fil-A or Starbucks or whatever the hell they're pissed off at next. So he passes a landmark piece of legislation that's going to help this country for years to come. They can't stand to give him an ounce of credit for that, because their guy didn't do it. If Donald Trump had did that, they would have wanted his face on Mount Rushmore. Hell, they already do. They already want his damn head up there. That's the kind of people we're all voting against, okay? Now, I don't know who made this quote. It's an old quote, but it's one of my favorites. It said that smart people, intelligent people are filled with doubt, and stupid people are filled with confidence. Well, I'm here to tell you, stop doubting yourself, okay? We're on the right side of history. We're people out there fighting for all Americans, not people that just looks like us, not people that just happens to have our accent. That's not who we're sitting here talking for. We're talking for everybody. We want everybody to have a life of liberty and pursuit of happiness. That's what we want them to have. So get past this idea. Get all the doubts out of your head. At any time that you sit and go, gee, what should we do? Think back to Donald Trump's presidency. Think back to the Supreme Court justices he nominated. Think back to what the Supreme Court is doing right now. Think back to January 6th and all that's unfolding. And think about the fact that these people are still behind this madness. They're still supporting this madness. So if my video about Hillary got you fired up and you went, damn, he's right, maybe we should have just all voted for Hillary in 2016 and we wouldn't be in this mess, get behind Joe Biden. Because you don't want to be sitting here in 2028 going, damn, maybe we should have just listened. Maybe we should have just circled the wagons and got behind Joe. Get behind Joe. He's a good man. He's doing a good job. He may not agree with you on every single issue. You may not agree with every little single thing he does. But the stakes are too high. He's fighting for more people's rights than the other side. What's the other side doing? Somewhere right now, there's a guy driving to work in his pickup truck in the middle of the next culture war, pissed off at something that's never going to have any effect on his life at all. And meanwhile, we've saw decisions made by the Supreme Court that's going to affect Americans for years to come. That's why we have to change this. We have to get out and vote. We have to get behind our guy. Not just our guy, but our side, our ideas. Our guy is the head of the table that represents our ideas. We're not out here just backing up one guy because we like the fact that he's rude or he's cruel. That's the difference between us. Stop doubting yourself, get out there and vote, and get excited. And share these videos here on MeidasTouch. Get them out to everybody. Let people know about MeidasTouch. We are a no bullshit network. We don't give, two sides to racism. We don't give two sides to treason. We don't sit and call the latest crazy deranged thing Donald Trump did an interesting new strategy. We call it like it is. And that's why people keep tuning in. So you guys keep tuning in. I'm Tennessee Brando, and I'll keep telling you the truth.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.